Are you a multi-passionate woman, a creative artist or healer? Are you trying to find your own path and feeling confused about all the possibilities? You may find yourself comparing your work to others, and all the struggle and the hustling is constantly pulling you away from your center. Then you are here right in the perfect place. In this video, I will introduce you to my own concept for the 12 archetypes for artistic women, and my concept is leaned on to the concept of Carl Gustav Jung, and he has been talking about our collective unconscious and the deeper fields of our collective dreams, memories, the fairy tales. And there's a holy connection between these archetypes and your creative artwork or your spiritual path as well. And for my development as an artist, these 12 archetypes are so meaningful and helpful because I am an artist who has been waiting for so long to emerge. In my former career, or in my career so far, I am working as a psychologist here in Germany. I have built up a huge YouTube channel with about 40,000 followers. And there I'm speaking about psychology, about relationship issues, and also about the topic of old souls. And my artist within loves to speak English and loves to create, and therefore I have thought about the concept of the archetypes, and I find it very helpful for me to find my own path. As a multi-passionate person, it has been really so difficult for me to explore my unique path. And if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling overwhelmed, confused, and on the other hand there may be a deep yearning inside of yourself to find your true path, your true calling, this video will help you to learn about more the 12 archetypes. And if you are finding maybe 1 up to 3 of them who really resonate with you, you will have suddenly deep insights about your inner calling, about the next steps maybe you are going to take for your next creative projects, or maybe for your spiritual inner guidance. And this is so helpful. It doesn't matter if you are looking at yourself as an artist or as a healer or as a spiritual seeker. These archetypes can work for everyone. I have developed my own system, and I will introduce you to some archetypes that may be new to you and may be helpful to follow your path. So let's begin. So in the beginning I will light up a little candle here. I love this, and my inner artist needs this. And this is a fragrance from Japan. So we have to stimulate our creative brain and use all our senses, the smelling, the listening, the colors. Right now I'm looking here into the green fields and the forest. It's in the evening times and we have a really beautiful light. And this is all very inspiring to every artist. We need this deep connection to the nature. And there we can start with the first archetype. And this is one of the main characters inside of me. And this is the fairy. When I was working as a psychologist in a clinic for families, there were lots of young children. And it happened many times when when I have finished my work and I was walking to my car to drive home. Lots of times the children were saying to their parents when I was on my way home as a psychologist, "Ah, look, mother, there is a fairy." have you seen the fairy? And they didn't know that I was working there as a psychologist, because I was only working with the parents there. And this was so many times. And there you can see the children, they have the right look. They can look behind your profession as an adult, and they can look inside your soul. And really, the fairy archetype is one of the most present archetypes in myself. And I will introduce to you all the 12 in this video. And on this channel, I will portray every archetype in detail. And during the next 12 months, I will introduce you more of the detailed part to every archetype in several videos. So the fairy archetype is also responsible for my channel name. And this is Ariane, the fairy muse. And there I have mixed up with a second archetype, which is a muse. And we will talk about the muse later. So, what's so special about the fairy archetype? This is a very common archetype, especially for the English-speaking countries. And my really first deep dive into this was this beautiful book from Marcia Maga. This is more than 24 years now after this book has been published here in Germany. And this I will comment later. And in Germany, the book was called The Feengeschenk, also das Feengeschenk. What the original title was. So, the English original title was Believing in Fairies, and it was published in 1999 by the publisher C.W. Daniel Company Limited in Saffron Walden, Essex in England. All right. And this is a really beautiful book for adults who are trying to connect to the fairy world. And to my opinion, this is still the best book about fairies of all times. And I can really recommend this. And here you see myself. This is so funny. When I was a young adult, I have just finished my psychology studies. And I'm completely in green clothing. I will give you a closer look up at this picture. And this was taken in a greenhouse. And this was also the first time when I was connecting with the fairy archetype. And this is not so supportive when you are a psychologist and trying to start an academic career. And this is also the reason why I am with 47 years now trying to reconnect to this and trying to make space to this archetype. And this is so deeply connected to my inner artistic self, to my highly sensitive being. And this is the topic I have been specializing on as a psychologist for the last 10 years now, but in a more poetic way and in a more spiritual aligned way. This is all connected to the fairy archetype. And this is also why I have started to learn to play the harp. I'm very connected. Yeah, I'm very connected. Oh, I'm very connected to the Irish, Scottish, and English traditions. And because of my engagement as a psychologist, writing many books for highly sensitive people, I just had to stop practicing playing the harp. And yeah, I will do this in the near future again, because it's so important for us as artists and highly sensitive persons to nourish our souls. And if you are drawn to the fairy archetype, you may feel that you are also connected to the old ways. This is where Lorena McCannett, with her title, The Old Ways, really nailed it. And this is also a song which makes me cry when I'm in the perfect mood. you are looking for these old connections with the fairies, the spirits in the forest, the stone circles, being very sensitive to the beauty of all things, yeah, liking sparkling glitter, and as well as jewelry. Here I have this green jewelry here, and it really sparkles and I love it so much. It's the green color here of the springtime in the woods. And there are also many artists outside who are really deeply connected to the fairy archetype. And if you are regularly on YouTube, maybe you have mentioned Jonna Jinten, and Jonna Jinten is a Swedish artist. And to my opinion, she's also very connected to the fairy archetype. So, and yeah, let's move on. So let's go to the second archetype. I call this archetype the Mermaid. During my visit at Glastonbury in England a few years ago, I have bought this book, and therefore there you see a beautiful illustration of a mermaid with gold. And this is a very famous artist. Her name is Josephine Wall, and I do also have lots of calendars of her. And of course, she is also very deeply connected to the fairy world and the mermaid as well, and the nature spirits. And the mermaid itself is connected to the siren. It's connected to very deep emotions that can be hidden. It's really a deep dive into the collective ocean. And yeah, maybe I can show you another picture. This is also a very talented artist from Canada. And she is creating sculptures. And there you see another mermaid. And she has made this picture out of wood and corals. And she is so gifted and talented. Maybe I can show you the bigger picture. She's really talented and giving these beings a physical form. And this is also a very sacred, a very spiritual and shamanic tradition as well, because many people believe that these artifacts are connected to the soul of a spiritual being, like the fairy here, which is made of wool. And this is really something that you can feel if you have this sensitive perception. And there's another artist I'm very connected to since 1998, and this is Hesanova. This is a booklet here from her LP, Oyster, and she has published an LP titled Siren. And since I am really connecting with these archetypes, I'm identifying so many artists out there who are playing with these archetypes, and not for any marketing reasons, because they are deeply connected on a soul level to these archetypes, and all their creative work that they are doing is or has been inspired by these archetypes in my mind. And the latest LP from Heather was Pearl. So amazing. I love her so much. And for me, she's a prototype of the mermaid and the siren, going very deep under the water and pulling up all these deep hidden emotions most people are afraid to show in this intensity. And this is, I love her so much. And when I'm working on my art as a painter, for example, or as a writer, I love to listen to her music, as well as Lorena McKennitt. And in the future videos, I will also analyze some of their artistic works and song texts. Now I'm introducing you to the third archetype. This is the Shadow Weaver. This is an archetype I'm also very connected with. And this is very special because the Shadow Weaver is an archetype who is able to work with deep wounds of the soul. And to my mind, Frida Kahlo, Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and Virginia Woolf are the perfect examples of women who are deeply connected to this archetype. And I'm working myself as well with the Shadow Weaver, especially in my groups when I'm working with women. I do also love women who runs with the wolves. I'm constantly working with the book for more than 25 years now. And this is really so helpful, especially when I'm empowering women to connect with their wild and instinctive self. And on this healing path, we have to confront ourselves with our shadow aspects, with the deep wounding, that maybe intergenerational wounds. And this is something you really need to connect when you are working as a therapist, as a healer, or when you are doing some creative work and you have this deep connection to this archetype. Your artistic work will be not the nice one, and not only about the beauty and love and happiness. It will help people to connect with their own wounds, with their shadow aspects, but not only to connect them, you will be able as an artist to show a healing path to heal from these wounds. And this is a really important aspect to my mind. Then I will introduce you to the fourth archetype. I call her Venus. And this is a very sensual archetype, a very classical archetype. Maybe I can relate to the women Georgia O'Keeffe, Monica Bellucci, or Anis Nin. And there are so many other female artists who are deeply connected with this archetype. And more, I do also see coaches, especially female coaches, who are playing a little bit around with the Venus inside herself. They are selling their offers, even though they may be very business-connected offers. With their Venus archetype, they are dressing very sexy up and very connected to this Venus energy inside their self. And this is also very interesting. And the Venus archetypes loves aesthetics, loves dancing. It's very passionate, it's very sensual, very visual. They can enjoy foods, colors, music, fragrances. And this is a very resourceful archetype, and maybe you are drawn to this and feel inspired by this. On the other side, there is a possibility that you are being cut off this energy, that you are trying to make everything perfect, to make everything look good, to be productive, and to be too good to be true. And there you can also invite archetypes you are feeling very far away of. You can give them an invitation, and there you can put pieces inside of you that are missing in your soul puzzle, and they can also help you to overcome creative blocks. And when I'm talking about this, you will for sure feel something. Maybe you are drawn to some archetypes, maybe you are a little bit in the distance, and there you can work with. This is really amazing.